Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 8th episode of the Tuesday Night Podcast. I'm your host, SBJ, and with me today, I have Alan. You're back.
I didn't think I was gone. I guess my mic wasn't working because I have a whole bunch of responses. But yeah, it's me, Alan Girding.
Gave us the cold shoulder last week.
It was my mic.
That's all right. Excuses. Speaking of excuses, we have Justin here.
I'm an excuse now. Oh, that's a step up. We're doing good.
That's those sweet transitions I have, segues, some would say. The dream team, and of course, to round off our dream team, we have Sean with us today.
Hello, I am Sean McCoy's lawyer. Sean's not able to talk this week. He has legal problems, possible murder, alleged murder, so he won't be on this week. I've advised him of such.
That's crazy.
It is a little shocking, some would say.
I think it's just Sean doing a voice.
We have an exciting show for you guys today. Let me lay it out. We're going to pick a winner for a free copy of Two Rooms and a Boom for leaving us an iTunes review. And
what?
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Have the winner. And we're going to do that again this month. I'm just giving away Tuesday night games left and right here. So any review after November 5th all the way up to November 30. Is there 31 days in November? No, 30.
Yep. No.
Remember the 5th of November. I know there's 5 days. It's Guy Fawkes Day, which is the day of this recording. But yeah.
From the day of this recording, which is November 5th, to the end of November, we will count all those reviews as submissions to win a copy of Two Rooms and a Boom. So please leave us a review in iTunes. The more stars, the more chances you have to win. That's not true, but we appreciate everyone's reviews. After we pick a winner, we're going to move right into our table talk where we talk about what we've been playing for the week. After that, our featured segment is going to be talking about Kickstarter games, which ones we really liked, which ones we didn't. I'm sure Alan has a lot to say about that because he is the world's biggest Kickstarter backer person.
One of them, yeah. Some people would call it an addiction. So, yeah. I've actually really cut back. I'm sorry, but for all the other people running Kickstarter campaigns.
Your apologies?
My apologies. Yeah, that I'm in recovery. I still sneak some backs in.
Gotta get your hit. And then we're gonna end our show with interrogation. Is that what we're calling it? Interrogation?
Yeah, let's call it interrogation.
Where we all ask each other one question to try to get to know each other better, and that also helps you guys get to know us better because some of you guys might think we're funny or entertaining, or you're listening to this podcast for some reason or another. So with that being said, let me pick the winner real quick of the free copy of Two Rooms and a Boom. That's going to go to...
Wait. I'm so excited. I just wanted dramatic tension to build before you just don't throw that name out. We got to do that. And I also want to say, I hope the winner is a vet because when we release this podcast, it's the day before Veterans Day. So thank you, veterans.
There you go. I should add a little drum roll soundbite.
Or Jaws theme music.
I hear it.
So the winner is Orange is the New I Love You.
Yay!
And let me just read the review here. Titled Great Gaming Show, 5 stars. I've always been a fan of board games, but sometimes they can be hard to get into because of the cost. This podcast does a great job talking about different games, so I know if I'd like something or it would be worth buying for me. The show is lighthearted and fun, and they know what they're talking about, but don't take themselves too seriously. I listen every week.
I think that was Sean's. Just kidding. That's a pretty sweet review.
Yeah,
Thanks, man.
It's a very awesome review. So, Orange is the New I Love You. Please email email us at podcast@tuesdaynightgames so we can get your shipping information, and I can get that off to, I think, Sean, and then Sean will get that sent out to you.
Hey, Orange. I orange you. Thanks for the
Awesome.
review. Yeah.
Very cool, very cool. Let's move into our first segment here, which is Table Talk.
It's time for a table talk.
And I'll go first. I'll be a little selfish and say I have not been playing anything. My weekend plans to play Pandemic Legacy fell through.
Oh man, that's not a good start to a legacy campaign.
Well, that's true. I was putting out feelers to see if I could get anyone to play, and the people I did want to play, they were doing a Halloween party, and they were like, "Oh, you guys can come over," and I was like, "No, that's all right. Like, that's cool. I'll just stay at home."
So people you want to play do not include me then, right?
Well, I already
That's right. You guys live in the same neighborhood. So busted.
I already had the 2 people picked out, but now that they didn't seem very like high up on that, so I might have to resort to Justin +1.
Resort. Take that step down.
Maybe Justin and I can help you. I'm wondering, when you say you send feelers out there, how are you asking people? Because your presentation of invitation can make the difference. So let me hear. Let's do a little role play. You're asking us to join your pandemic group.
Well,
He busts out a knife first. And
I wouldn't say it's that. I have
I know you would, and I'm worried they would. That's the whole point. Like, maybe it's one of those blind spots.
It could be. So I have my group of friends, and in any group of friends, there are like the couples where if you ask one of them to play, you're gonna get the other one,
right?
And the other one, in my situation, I know doesn't get along with my significant other.
Is it they don't like your significant other? May we name her name, or is she that must not be named?
Oh, Irene?
Yeah,
No,
Irene.
we can name her name.
Is it that she doesn't like Irene, or Irene doesn't like her, or is it mutual?
I don't think it's mutual. I just think that
name names. Let's do this.
I think there is a miscommunication. It happens all the time when we play games, and I feel like there's a miscommunication where something ticks off one of another, and then that grudge is held throughout the entire game. So there's no way I'm going to go into a 12-game campaign hoping that tension doesn't break early or late. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Is this why you're avoiding inviting Justin? Because that invisible tension between the two of you? This is what I like to do on these podcasts, is build dramatic tension between the members, even though it's probably not actually there.
So I have no problem inviting Justin. I actually would be very happy playing Pandemic with Justin. But then it leaves, like, I don't know who the fourth would be. Because my original plan was like 2 guys that knew each other pretty well. And that got along with Irene and I. But there was the significant other mix up. So whatever.
What was the group that befriends a couple and then the couple breaks up? Because that has happened on numerous occasions with my game groups, and it's awkward as hell because it's the classic.
Do they both come back?
Well, I mean, there's the I'm not going if she's going. I'm not going if he's going. It's like, guys, don't make us choose sides. But it was, that's happened a couple of times throughout the years.
That's when you don't choose sides and you just make it as awkward for both of them to be there.
Yeah, you just burn both bridges. You're just like, all right, see you guys. We got to find a new couple.
I guess like my complaint is that, especially with like significant others, where it's almost like, oh, I'm going to this thing, so you should come, and then we're playing games, so you should play games. Like, I feel like they shouldn't feel pressured to play if they don't want to play.
Absolutely.
And I don't know how to ever say that without being like, well, clearly you don't want to play, so just don't play. And then it's like, well, now you're not doing anything, but why are you even here? Kind of like, I know why you're here, but why? It's just like, it almost feels like everything is forced when it's like, we're all adults. Just, if you don't want to come, don't come. I'm sure I don't want to waste your time. And in return, I just respect that you don't waste my time, or in this case, the group's time playing a game.
It's
Justin,
the worst.
You probably agree with this, that the worst type of player, the sandbagger.
Define it for me.
Sandbagger? Well, the non-player, I would actually prefer. If someone says, no thanks, and they do it politely, Sandbagger is someone who says, "Yeah, I guess I'll play, but all right."
Yeah,
And they just drag ass the entire time, making sure that their misery is shared with everybody else.
I was just gonna
Sandbagger.
I was just gonna say that, like, I've got friends who like will bring their girlfriends and like try to get them to play games, and then they'll be like, "Oh, do we have to?" Like, "Oh God, why? This game's so nerdy." I'm like, "Really?" Then like just go home. Like, don't bring us all down because you're having a little hissy fit.
Yeah.
It's interesting because it's been males mostly for me. Like the girls are like, "Yeah, sure, let's try it. Let's try it." They may say like, "I don't understand," or just like anyone else would. But I know plenty of men that are the sandbaggers, and it's usually because they'd rather play something else. Not sure.
Yeah, not to get confused with somebody who's hesitant to play because they don't
Totally
want,
different. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't
Right.
want to. Their hesitation is like they don't want to feel embarrassed that they don't understand or they don't know the rules.
Or if it seems really complicated, I get that one a lot too.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think the fear comes in with the 3-hour booby trap. Yeah, I'll play this game, but is it going to be 3 hours of my life? Because that's a huge buy-in. So I can appreciate that as well.
Speaking, well, that was an unplanned off-topic thing, but I think it was good and constructive. Let's bring it back around here. Alan, have you played anything?
Oh man, I played so much. Here's the big reveal. It wasn't a mic problem last week. Last week, I was at Ravenwood Castle doing my Halloween event. Yes, it was amazing. So Tuesday Night Games did this event, and I want to paint this picture for you both so you can kind of experience. You guys ready for this?
I'm excited.
All right, imagine the world's favorite couple, SBJ and Justin, driving along in southern Ohio. It's beautiful fall landscape because you're kind of in the middle of nowhere, kind of in the Hocking Hills area. There's nothing but hills and the autumn trees all over the place and hilly trees all over the place. And you've been driving for a while without seeing anything. And then you come across a big wooden sign that says Ravenwood Castle this way. And it's a single lane dirt road that goes steeply up a hill. You decide, let's check it out. So you drive up this hill and there's trees on each side and it's getting darker. And then it parts way as you get to the top of the hill. And at the pinnacle of its height, there you see what is a castle. We're talking made of stone from medieval times castle. It's amazing. It has the great towers. And you decide, you know what? Let's check out what's inside. And you have to walk across the drawbridge to find the big wooden doors. And you open these doors, and inside you realize, oh my goodness, this is a castle inside and outside, up, down, left, right, everywhere. You see the great hall with an amazing fireplace and these huge dining tables for all knights in shining armor. I should say suits of armor because they're not actually knights walking around. A dungeon, a pub. It's amazing. But what's even cooler is they have like an outdoor chessboard. You decide to go exploring outside a little bit, and there's a path that goes down into what only can be described as probably one of the most adorable villages you've ever seen, populated with these themed cottages. For instance, there's the woodcutter cabin, and the woodcutter cabin is made out of wood, and it has these posts that seem they're directly chopped off from gnarled tree branches, and inside there's actually a growing tree, so it's built around this tree. There's the tea maker's cabin, which is something right out of Alice in Wonderland with its great vermilion color, and a whole bunch of different types of cottages. And that was actually one of the coolest parts as a surprise, because to me, the castle was really cool, but this village was epic, like the clock tower cabin, where it was a clock tower. You go inside and it has this huge vaulted ceiling. And it seems like something right out of Notre Dame. It's amazing. It was so cool. But the entire weekend was hosted by Professor Vanguard, the Mad Professor, because the whole thing was the Mad Professor's Hollow Wicked Weekend of Social Experiments, where I got to host an amazing group of people, because that was the best thing about it, was the people involved. All these guests who I'd never met before, they all just came in not even knowing what this was going to be exactly, because I gave a vague description. And there was a couple families, a lot of couples. Like there was 2 anniversaries going on. There was a honeymoon going on, and these adorable families and some other couples. It was just amazing. And they were very complimentive as far as how much fun they were having. And these are the games we played. So circling back, imagine you walk in and there you're greeted with me in costume. Hey, I'm the Mad Professor. And we played a whole bunch of games. We played The Curse of the Worst, which is what we demoed in our Halloween episode 2 episodes ago. There was plenty of Werewolf, which went over really well.
What kind of werewolf?
What kind of werewolf? You know, the thing was this. I really wanted to play Ultimate Werewolf, but I played regular vanilla werewolf, including no seer. It was just werewolves. And let me tell you why. This is a pretty green, inexperienced group. And this was down in the Dungeon Pub. So we're in the pub, and so just imagine a tavern right out of medieval times. Really cute, fireplace going. And there wasn't really a way to make a circle of people. And people were constantly ordering drinks and laughing. And I didn't want to cut out the merriment and say like, hey, everyone, stop what you're doing and do everything that I want you to do. But I was able to organize them enough to get into a game of werewolf. So everyone's still sitting in a restaurant type pub setting. So I decided not to make it too fancy for the first one. And I'm really glad I did. And I just walked around tapping who should be the werewolves on the shoulders. Because again, we're talking like 50 people. So I just ran it by the seat of my pants. And instead of needing a majority of votes, I just said, if you think this person should be hanged this evening, it will take 15 votes, right? So I just tried to make it as quick as possible. And it went really well. A lot of people seemed to have fun. And the cool thing was when people were eliminated, they didn't care. They just kept on drinking their ale and their mead and sat back and laughed. It just was a really feel-good time where everyone was there just to have fun, not necessarily competitive gaming at all. So that was probably the main event. And what was interesting is I was really excited to do 2 Rooms and a Boom, but I was retheming it 2 Rooms and a Boo. But that didn't go over so well because for 2 Rooms and a Boom, you need 2 rooms and some organization, and you have to be able to walk around. So physically, people weren't really in the mood because some people weren't playing. So imagine like having a group of people that are in the midst of other people that aren't playing with 2 rooms. So if I were going to do it again next year, I'd make sure I would run that event in the Great Hall as opposed to the pub where there's all these restaurant tables. I'd make sure I'd clear some space. Like I did for Thingy. Thingy was not played in the pub. Thingy was played in the Great Hall. Really cool. And other games we played was the Sorting Splat. The main event was Deathly Deals, all sorts of different games. But the big winners really seemed to be Spyfall. Seemed to be really popular with these groups. They really liked One Night Ultimate Werewolf. And recently I got to play One Night Revolution as well. And my name's in the credits for that one. But anyways, that's what I've been playing. What do you guys want? Yeah, please ask away.
Can you go more in depth with One Night Revolution, since that actually I believe just came out last week?
Yes, One Night Revolution. So, should we do the elevator pitch?
Yes.
All right.
I've mastered the elevator music.
Cool.
Yeah, you did.
What we need to do is master the ding. Someone ding me.
Ding.
Oh, hey, welcome. We're in this elevator together. I better not waste any time, and I should tell you about this game, One Night Revolution. I'm not sure if you've heard of One Night Werewolf or One Night Vampire, but now, Indie Board and Cards got together with Bezier Games and decided to make One Night Revolution. So imagine you're sitting around with a group of your friends. It could just be 4, it could be 8, but a few of you are spies and the rest of you are part of the resistance and you're not sure. So each of you get an allegiance card, an ID card that you look at so you know if you're a spy, if you're a resistant. Then these special ability cards get passed out. They're role cards. So each one has a special ability that they can do. But the ability is different based upon your team. So for instance, if you're the reassigner, it's different if you're a resistance member or if you're a spy member. So you go through and everyone closes their eyes and you take turns opening your eyes and doing your ability, which could be things like changing people's IDs or touching the person next to you. Everyone opens their eyes after everyone's done their ability and everyone votes to go ahead and eliminate a player. If they eliminate a spy, the resistance wins, but if they don't eliminate a spy, the spies win. That's One Night Revolution played in just 5 minutes.
So it's very, very similar to One Night Ultimate Werewolf.
It's very similar to One Night Werewolf. And here's my honest take on it is it's definitely a step to the left and more advanced from One Night Werewolf, because in One Night Werewolf, your allegiance and your abilities are attached. So if you're a seer, you have the seer ability in One Night Werewolf, but you also have the seer's ability. In this one, your abilities and your allegiance are detached. So someone may have an ability to change your allegiance, and no one's really has an ability that I know of or that I played with that can change your ability. It's just that your ability is different based upon your allegiance. It does have some complaints that I think need to be worked through. First of all, there's no app, and the instruction manual needs some errata because it doesn't thoroughly explain each of the roles. And that's one thing really noticeable, because with the Bezier Games versions of One Night Ultimate Werewolf and One Night Vampire, there's definitely a character guide for each of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
And they even have a nifty app that walks you through everything.
I love that thing. It's so great.
It's amazing, right? Right? And in fact, here's a quick pitch. Ashley Birch from Hey Ash, What You Playing does the female voice for that app. So that's super cool too, because I'm a fan of Ashley Birch and her brother Anthony Birch, who's the designer of World Championship Russian Roulette. So it comes full circle, and me being selfish once again, promoting a Tuesday night game. But no app and no really good game descriptions. I should say ability descriptions. For instance, there's an ability that one character has where you have 3 cards in the middle, just like One Night Werewolf, that no one uses. And if you can go ahead, and if you are a spy, you can go ahead and take one of those middle cards that's a spy and assign it to someone who isn't a spy. But the problem is, it doesn't tell you, do you get to look at all 3 of the middle cards until you find a spy? Do you just get to look at one card in the middle? We didn't look it up. We just played it. Like, you get to look at all and find the one spy that's in the middle.
Is that assuming that there's no other spies that you see?
No, it's a special ability. It's known as the reassigner, and it's different if you're a spy or resistance. And the other thing is, this is my other note, the names of the jobs, the abilities, aren't really intuitive. Like the reassigner, the observer, the investigator, it doesn't have as easy of a learning curve, in my opinion, as One Night Werewolf. Like the seer and the drunk and the troublemaker, they have a more thematic and it makes sense. But I've never really heard someone being called a reassigner. But I have heard someone been called a drunk before.
It's weird because it sounds like the game is almost like a step back from One Night Ultimate Werewolf.
It sounds like they really tried to incorporate more of resistance into the game.
Yeah, and the weird thing is, resistance, and I'm not sure why, I have to do my research, because it's called One Night Revolution, and it was originally called One Night Resistance. And Travis Worthington put a post on Kickstarter backers that said, there is too much confusion between One Night Revolution and an expansion to, One Night Resistance and expansion to Resistance. So he changed the name from One Night Resistance to One Night Revolution so people wouldn't think it's an expansion. But the grapevine has told me it was more like of a legal issue, perhaps, of the original designer not wanting it to. So they're not even called Spies and Resistance. They're called, damn it, I should have remembered this.
Blue Team and Red Team.
That's what we ended up calling them, man. We ended up calling them Blue Team and Red Team because it was like, wait, I think it's like infiltrators and what's another word for resistance? The
Heroes.
Something. And I guess that's my point is, we played for a good hour and afterwards we're like, I don't remember anyone's name or role. It was not as intuitive. But of course that would go away if you played enough.
Man, no app though. That's also a turnoff.
Yeah, you just have to have someone that says, everyone close your eyes. Now, spies or red team, open your eyes and look at each other. Red team, close your eyes. Now, first person, open your eyes and do your thing. And when you're done doing your thing, say, task complete.
But then you know who that is.
Yeah, right.
Well, you know that you go in order. You go around clockwise doing your abilities.
Oh, I see. So it's everyone does it.
Everyone does it. So there is a difference between that. It's not just like drunk, open your eyes.
Okay.
Oh, well, he's the drunk. Gotcha.
Yeah. So you just go through and it's cool because like the one is Frick, man, I can't remember any of these rules. One of them is you get to touch someone on your side, and it's cool because if you are a spy, if you're on red team, you're not allowed to touch anyone unless they are on red team with you. So then people can ask, hey, was anyone touched on the shoulder? And if no one was touched on the shoulder, you know that the toucher, I don't know what it is, the frotteur is a spy on red team. Anyway, yeah.
The old toucher.
The old toucher.
That old toucher.
Yeah.
Alan, can I pay you to like narrate my life?
Sure, man. I would love to. Here we go. Justin Erdman, regular man or superhero?
See? Perfect.
Regular man.
I'll send you $10.
Regular man Justin, have you played anything?
Yeah, I played Alchemists over the weekend.
Oh, let's hear it.
Okay. So Alchemists, you guys are all like fresh on the job alchemists, and you're trying to basically figure out what different ingredients are made up of to make potions. So it's part worker placement, part logic puzzle, because you actually end up testing, like you combine two different ingredients to see what kind of potion they make. Whether there's like red, blue, and green. Red is health, blue is magic, and then green is like stamina, like any like video game, basically RPG video game. And there's like positives and negatives. So like the positives are always like good, and the negatives are always like hurting you in some way, shape, or form. So you go throughout the game putting guys down, like trying to gather ingredients, sell potions to customers, and then trying to figure out what creates what. And then at the end of the game, you do this huge like exhibition and be like, oh, well, I can make all these potions. Ha ha ha. It works out pretty well. What I like about it the most. Okay, that works too.
What do you like about it the
elevator.
most?
We can talk about it.
Yeah.
So.
No. But it's there's a couple of things I really like about it. One is there's an app with it, much like One Night, except this one,
unlike One Night Resistance, am I right, guys?
One Night Revolution.
Oh, sorry. Damn it. These names.
These names so hard.
Yeah, I'm really realizing One Night Revolution is the equivalent of King of Tokyo Monopoly, because we played it and we're like, you guys want to do One Night Werewolf?
You guys want to go over here and so what do you like about
yeah, sorry,
Alchemist?
let's keep going.
No,
Mr. Derailer.
So the app, like, it generates a 4-digit code that you like everybody types in on their phone, and like so that way you guys know you're all playing the same game. But it like actually checks the cards for you and shows you what matches they make and stuff. So there's not any hassle of trying to keep all that stuff organized and not have people cheat at the same time, because it's all, obviously right there. Plus it's a lot. Like, they've got a board you can play without the app, but you need an extra person who doesn't do anything except show you what you create. It's like the most boring thing in the world, and I can't imagine anybody would actually use it.
I might actually like doing that.
Okay, Steve, you would be the only
I like
person
having
in the
that
world.
like in control and making sure people have fun.
Oh yeah. So what I ended up doing was I sat out, but I still used the app because like the people I was playing with, they like, I want to make sure that they understood the game. The one thing I will say is it's a very in-depth game, and like I said, half of it's a logic puzzle. So there's like 8 different combinations, or 8. There's I don't even know how to explain it. There's like an element associated with each ingredient, and so there's ones that cancel each other out, and it becomes a very big logic puzzle, and you get this sheet and you got to mark off like what it could be and what it couldn't be, which I really like. I like logic puzzles, and like I play with my friends who also love that kind of thing. But if you don't, it's a huge problem, because you're just not going to understand how the logic flows. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense over audio form.
Right. I mean, it's not an easy game to explain. Plus, I suck at explaining things. So, but no, it's a really fun game. Like, the worker placement is done really well. I think that it's got a lot of theme to it. Like, you can feel it. But yeah, you definitely need to like logic puzzles.
I love the guy in the podcast saying, hey guys, I'm not good at explaining. That's the best part.
I don't like to toot my own horn. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I know we're not a review podcast, but would you recommend that we play it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, sweet. What company makes it?
Check Games, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Check Games. Nice. All right.
Yeah,
That's awesome. I'll have to look into that.
I can bring it over at some point too.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Well, let's move into our middle segment. Our first segment ran way longer than it should.
It's my fault, guys. It always is.
Yeah, it is your fault. So what we'll
It
do because I feel like we have so much to talk about our middle segment here. Do we have middle? I don't know if we have segue music for the featured topic.
You know, I have a great idea. Let's make it right now. You guys make clock sounds really quick. Let's do it. Make clock sounds.
I don't know how to make a clock sound.
You can just go TikTok if you want to, SBJ.
All right. Are we ready?
Oh, we're doing this?
Yeah, do it.
Okay.
It's topic time. There you go.
I can't do that.
It was all right. We'll go with that for now. So our feature topic is about Kickstarter games, and board gaming is such a big thing on Kickstarter. Well, a lot of things are big things on Kickstarter, but really, there's a huge community behind making board games and getting them published and delivered through Kickstarter. Two Rooms and a Boom is a great example of a game that went through Kickstarter.
Oh.
And there has been some really great board games on Kickstarter, and there have been a lot of flops, in my opinion, on Kickstarter.
Or as I like to call them, kick farters.
But in just trying to save time and making sure the show doesn't run over, let's just focus on one good one and one bad one, or maybe just if you have a lot to say about just one in particular, let's just focus on that, because this is a topic we can always come back to, because I feel like so much to talk about.
So much. Why don't we just focus on kick farters then? We'll start with the negative so we can overcome it with the good. How's that sound?
Sure.
Plus I only prepared kick farters. I didn't know we were talking about good ones.
You don't out of all the Kickstarters you've backed, you don't have any like amazing ones that come to mind?
Of course I have amazing ones that come to mind, but I prepared kick farters. But you're the host, man. I will totally fall in line. Yes, I have some surprise hits. Go for it.
Well, let's focus on one kick farter then.
Okay.
Mine is going to be Kittens in a Blender.
Oh, I didn't back it. That's like one of the only ones I didn't back.
It was my second Kickstarter I ever backed. It had the estimation delivery date of August 2012. So this was... Kittens in a Blender already existed. It was a game that I bought at my local game store when I was first getting into board gaming. It was probably one of the first 10 games I've ever bought. And I primarily bought it because it was a $10 game, and it had a cat on the box. And I didn't know much about board games at the time. So this was
all it takes. A cute
You
kitty
saw the
and
cat,
you're in.
yeah, and you're like, I'm done.
Yeah, I was like, it's under $10 and there's a cat in the box. I've spent worse. I spent $10 worse before. So this was prior to August of 2012, because obviously I already owned the game. I saw that they did a Kickstarter for an expansion. I was like, great. It was a 4-player game at the time. The expansion, I think, brought it up to 6 players. But besides that, it was like $12 to back for the expansion. Come to 2015, I just got the game a month ago.
Whoa, but you could buy it. You could still buy it at a store.
You could. It took the expansion, only the expansion, 3 years to make. And what they did is they sent everyone who bought the expansion for $12, they sent them a sealed copy of the original game.
I'm glad it was sealed.
Well, they redid the packaging. I don't know if the cards are any different. I haven't even opened it. And then they sent the expansion, which it's frustrating because the game already existed.
Did you play it with the expansion?
I haven't. No, I haven't even opened it.
So it may be awesome and totally worth the 3 years, or is 3 years worth nothing?
I don't know if 3 years is worth nothing, but it's for a game that was already manufactured on the market, for them to do an expansion, which was just the cards that they already had designed, to come 3 years, it is extremely frustrating to go like, what happened, guys? You're only making a card game. And I guess I could say the same about Two Rooms and a Boom.
Only losers and bozos are late on their Kickstarters. Let's be very clear on that.
But I think the difference between Two Rooms and a Boom and Kittens in a Blender is I could walk into a store and buy Kittens in a Blender. I couldn't walk into a store and buy Two Rooms and a Boom. Like, that was the first time you guys were doing that. At some point, Kittens in a Blender went through that process to end up on a store shelf.
Yeah, you could always print and play it.
That's what
Is that what you were going to say, Justin?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a pretty painful BGG post about how horrible the published version is of Two Rooms and a Boom compared to the print and play. But I can't help but feel, are you printing on plastic? Like what kind of gold are you
There's
printing?
not a
this on?
single print and play I really like. And it's very hard, in my opinion, to sell a print and play to friends because they're just like, what is this?
There's been some versions of the Two Rooms print and play that have been really well done. I mean, I've got some crazy friends, but nothing compares to the actual published version. I don't think it's possible.
Oh, you guys.
So that was my bust. I have a more failures in Kickstarter, but for being the second thing I've ever backed on Kickstarter and waiting over 3 years for it.
Pretty disheartening, man.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, we can come back to this because I got so many. Justin!
I don't know. It seems like you guys back bad Kickstarters. I don't know. I just do research and see if it's going to be good. I don't know.
Do you have one that stands out, like a good Kickstarter that came through?
There was one. Okay, so this one is not perfect, so we'll go with this one. I can't even think of the name of the game right now. It's a spy game. But it was,
I feel like I already know which one you're talking about. But
it's like Tales of Arabian Nights. Oh, Agents of Smirsh.
Oh, okay.
I did the video for that, yo.
Yeah, I know you did. But
I
I
didn't
think
know
the
that
game,
was a Kickstarter game.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really good. I mean, it's a really fun game. I really like it. The
Jason
one thing,
Maxwell, he's one of the nicest guys you'll meet too. With 8 Summit Games, it's his own personal company. It's a one-man show. He did all of that. It's hilarious. Keep on going, Justin.
it's a really good game. I think the biggest problem I have with it is the rules were terrible. Like that rule book was not easy to read at all. I still go back to it every time we play because things don't make sense. But I love Tales of Arabian Nights, and it's got that huge book with it, and it's spy themed. It's really good.
Yeah, to give a thorough explanation for those that don't know Tales of Arabian Nights or Agents of Smirsh, it is a complete story-driven game. It has this amazing algorithm where you go around the board traveling, and you get different items, and you get different traits. For instance, you could get injured, like with a broken leg, and that will change the story potentially for the rest of the game because you get into a situation and you have to say, I have a broken leg and I'm in Paris, and what happens? And the most memorable game I've played of Agents of Smirsh, it was just this bizarre coincidence, but I was a Soviet spy, and every single mission I went on, I always lost my shoe. It was just hilarious. Like even in a submarine, like one mission was go into the submarine and make sure you set bomb, then escape. And I'm like, all right, I roll the dice and check the algorithm out, and I'm going to choose this option. I'm going to go use my scuba suit. What happens? You make it out, but barely, and you left your shoe behind. So it was just ridiculous. Like I just kept on leaving my shoe behind. And this is in a book. I didn't say this. The whole book did. It was incredible. So, hey, good choice, man.
Yeah, I mean, and Jason did a really good job of writing all those scenarios up because, I mean, there's a lot in that book, and they all feel like you're doing something badass spy related.
How late was that Kickstarter?
Man, I got that game already 2 years ago. I would say it was probably like 6 months late, I think.
That's pretty good, actually.
6 months is not bad, especially for a one-man show.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Alan, what you got for us?
All right. I think the one that's probably worth to mention the most is the Doom that came to Atlantic City, because that's the classic one that did really well and really had its sights on full. For instance, was it Kingdom Death that we were talking about with you and Sean and the really expensive, and how you thought, man, this game's way too big. No way is it going to be made. This is vaporware.
Yes.
Well, that probably came from the Doom that came to Atlantic City because all these artists were hired and these sculptors were hired, and it was supposed to be a Monopoly type version of Cthulhu where instead of buying properties, you actually destroyed them. And then if you destroyed enough, you could open a portal and summon an elder god.
I can't believe that scenario and theme had appeal.
A lot of Cthulhu fans out there, man, and the idea of Monopoly meets Cthulhu is kind of appealing to a lot of people. But the thing was, the guy was really late, and he's saying, hey, and he spent all the money on opening up a business and making an office instead of actually publishing the game, and eventually just wrote an update. Yeah, spent it. Sorry.
I remember
not
that.
making
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Which is why Cryptozoic is a super classy company. Corey Jones is one of the leads there. Maybe he is the leader guy when I think of Cryptozoic. And they went ahead and they published it and gave it to the backers that backed it for no charge at their expense. I mean, it was kind of a marketing ploy for them to say, like, hey, we're a really awesome company. We believed in this game. We're going to make sure it sees the light of day. But they did that. And I think that's one of the amazing stories of how tight the tabletop industry is.
Yeah, it's really cool. I remember reading the article about the guy saying like, "Oh, like the money's gone. Like I can't even refund you because I spent it all on production." And then like the Kickstarter backers like researched and like looked at his LinkedIn and looked at his Facebook and like figured out that he like moved across the country and like
Yep.
like got an office and everything. And obviously that's where the money went.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then it was probably 6 months after he said, "Oh, well, sorry guys, no game."
This is why when Sean and I bought our new homes with our Kickstarter money, we made sure we took no Facebook pictures, no tweets about it whatsoever. We hid that stuff.
Then when Cryptozoic bought it, or I don't know, did they buy it from him, or did the guy just give it to him for free? Was that ever disclosed?
We should ask Sean's lawyer about that.
That's not in my discipline. Sorry, I don't know anything about anything that you're talking about.
Thanks, lawyer. I have no idea. He doesn't either.
But yeah, for them to make the game and then
Just
send
keeps
it
going.
out, and now I could walk into my local board game store and I can see it on the shelf, is really cool. And I'm sure
played it.
hopefully they've made their money back from it, because that seems like a big loss for the company.
Yeah.
That story actually reminds me of another Kickstarter, Odin's Raven. I didn't back it because I already own the original version.
You just
but
reminded me that I backed it.
You did?
Yeah.
Nice.
I did
Yeah.
back one.
So, I mean, you could tell the story too, but I just followed it because I like the Cosmos 2-player games. I think I've said that before. But this guy's like, "Oh, I'm gonna totally like remake this." The designer and everybody's cool with it, and they made like a lot of money off the Kickstarter. And then as soon as the Kickstarter was over, nobody heard from him again. It was like 2 years, and like people were trying to get their money back and everything else, and it was a nightmare.
I have a whole list here of people that have cut and run on my Kickstarter things. I just thought the Doom that came to Atlantic City had to be mentioned. And I do want to say that is why Sean and I definitely were inspired to promise our backers we're not going to spend the money on anything until you guys get your game. And in fact, truth be told, Sean and I still haven't seen a personal dime for our backer from our Kickstarter yet. We haven't paid ourselves because we had to make the company and you have to create a fiscal year, whatever, accounting stuff. I've been burned for $350 on one Kickstarter. I was really into getting my wife into games. So they had get a character made into a game. Sold. Because I loved putting my wife in the games. I don't know why. Maybe it's a weird fetish of mine. But my wife's in a whole bunch of games out there from Kickstarter. And one of them looked really cool. And it was 3v3, like 3 versus 3, commissioned. And I spent $350, nothing. And then the guy just wrote his backers, "Hey, I'm dealing with depression. Really sorry, it's an illness." But nothing. And that was almost 4 years ago.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's rough. I remember Kittens in a Blender. I think they were charging $100 or $150 to have your cat be one of the cats featured. You would send them a picture of your cat and they would illustrate it onto the card. And I was real close to pulling the trigger on that, and I'm so glad I didn't.
Yeah, it's really sketchy when you get, especially those upper levels like that.
Yeah. I mean, you see now, like, a lot of game companies like Indie Board and... Is that what? Indie Board and Cards?
Indie Board and Cards.
Indie
with
Board and
Travis
Cards, like,
Worthington.
when I see them do a Kickstarter, I know it's going to be done from start to finish.
Right.
Yeah,
but
reliable.
but you get like Tuesday night games with 2 rooms and a boom, and you're like, well, can they actually pull it off? Like, what's gonna happen?
We can pull it off, but it'll be late.
You can't win them all.
No, we've really learned from the lesson. I think all of our future Kickstarters that we'll do, we are hell bent on making sure that they're reliable as hell. Because, man, trust us, I didn't want to hear any of the grief that we got rightfully so, from this last one. So for our own self-preservation and for our own sleep, we definitely will make sure that we have already submitted art files to the printer by the time our Kickstarter reaches near its funding. So
Russian roulette is your next one.
yeah. Sean wants me to start pitching that as like a shameless plug thing. So, hey, World Championship Russian roulette coming to Kickstarter, hopefully this holiday season.
There you go. Shameless
Yay.
plug.
Shameless plug.
Cool. Well, yeah, I don't know if you guys want to go more in depth about Kickstarter next week, or you had something else in mind you want to talk about.
Maybe favorite convention, since we're about to go to BGG-Con. How's that sound?
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, convention
I like
stories. Favorite conventions.
Convention
Yeah.
stories for next week. If any of our listeners have anything they want to share regarding that, you can always email us at podcast@tuesdaynightgames.com, and we're more than happy to read your emails on the show. It's really cool. And don't forget, if you have somebody you want to be on the show, like a game designer or somebody at a game company, tweet at them and then include our Twitter as well, so we can kind of start that conversation. We want to start getting guests on the show because we think that would be cool for you guys.
Really quick, any of you guys doing the Extra Life all-night gameplay charity thing this weekend?
No.
No.
No, just me. Okay,
you.
all right.
But by the time they listen to this,
It'll be over anyway, so
It'll
I'll
be
have a
over.
crap ton of games to talk about next week.
perfect. Well, let's wrap up the show. Our last segment is interrogation.
And now we are going to interrogate each other. One question, one answer. Interrogation.
Which involves us asking each other one question to get to know each other better. Alan, would you like to begin?
Sure. Man, I'm tempted to ask SBJ why you hate Justin so much, but instead I think I'll ask SBJ, why do you hate charity so much?
This was a conversation we were having before the show.
Yeah,
Uh,
don't
'cause-
like the Extra Life charity, apparently.
Yeah, you asked me if I was participating in the Extra Life, and I said, nah, I don't really care for that kind of stuff. And then you took it as I don't like charity.
Well, no, you left it hanging. You said, I don't like that stuff. I was like, oh, okay. Like, you don't like charities?
So my problem is, and it's not that I don't like charity. I've definitely donated to many charities, and I've hosted art shows where all the money went to charity. Like I've donated thousands of dollars to Child's Play charity. But the reason I don't like Extra Life is because I know that most of the people doing it, their motive isn't to donate to kids. Their motive is to get more people to watch their Twitch stream. And I find that very,
Selfish?
very selfish. So in my mind, it's more of like, I have a couple people watching my stream, or I have a couple followers. But if I use the Extra Life hashtag and I tell people that I'm doing this for charity, even though I'm going to be streaming games anyways, like that's the ticket in to get more people to watch my stuff.
This is how ignorant I am. I didn't even realize that it's for video games too.
Yeah.
Dumb, because the logo is a controller for a video game. Why was I thinking it was only for board games? Oh, I'm so dumb, guys. So dumb.
No,
We should-
a lot of board gamers do it, and that's kind of the ones I like to watch because you normally don't see
See on Twitch at all ever.
right, which is awesome. But
Wait,
like I don't like it just bothers me that people use that as an excuse to like try to draw in viewers to their site when like that is their marketing ploy. Like this is how I'm going to get advertisement to get people to watch me.
But I mean, it's not all those people. Like if you or I or Alan were to, actually Twitch it, like, we're just doing it to be good to,
Yeah.
children's
and
charities. So.
That's on my part where like I obviously don't know I know it's not all those people, but it's still it's annoying because I know it's some people
Right.
that don't do it. Like when you see like big streamers like get like $50,000 for charity, that is awesome. and they're really doing that because their presence is already so big. But then you see those little streamers, the ones that are like desperate to get viewers, and they use the Extra Life charity to be like, oh, I can get 2 more viewers, and they end up at the end of the day donating $15. And yeah, that's still great, that's awesome, but like, I don't know, just you could have just donated the $15 yourself.
Those little streamers.
Right.
Total confession, I don't totally get Twitch. I guess what's that?
You're too
Twitch?
old. You're
I'm too old. I've watched the Dark Souls 2 Dark Souls 1 Twitch, and that's all I've watched of Twitch ever.
As a HOTS player, I'm surprised you don't watch more of that.
Yeah, well, life.
Twitch
All right, SBJ, what's your question?
Twitch is a whole another conversation that we can go in depth in.
I hate feeling old and out of touch, but that's definitely one of them.
No, I'm with you. I don't fully understand the appeal to Twitch, and I'm not a lot younger than you, but I'm definitely younger than you. My question is to Alan.
Oh.
Alan, what is your real life job?
Oh. Justin, do you know what I am in real life? Or as they say in Twitch, IRL?
I actually do know what you are.
Yeah. Justin will tell you. Get a load of this, SBJ. What am I, Justin?
You're a professor, and I want to say it's psychology.
You are correct, sir. I'm a psychology professor. Before that, I practiced clinical psychology, and most of my practice experience has been in the maximum security prisons with a whole bunch of drug dealers, murderers, rapists, and a surprising amount of pedophiles. But I got out of that and moved to California, worked there for a while, then came back to Ohio to work as a psychology professor here in the humble Cuyahoga Community College. Yeah, I love it. It's a dream job of mine, so I'm really happy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I was stalking you a bit, and I thought it was something in psychology, but I was leaning towards more that you were a therapist.
When he says a bit, he means he was standing outside your house waiting for you, and then he followed you to your job.
Okay. That was you, huh? All right. I just thought it was one of the ex-prisoners for whom I was a therapist. Therapist is like a generic term. It's kind of like saying I hooked up with someone. You don't really know what happens. It could have been the whole thing. It could have just been kissing. So when someone's a therapist, they could be a psychiatrist. They could be a priest. They could be a marital family counselor. They could be a psychologist. You just don't know. But yeah.
All right. Fair enough. Justin, question to somebody.
Yeah, to Alan. Okay, so as a backstory to this, Alan texts me at like the most inopportune times. It'll be like 1 o'clock in the morning. He'll be like, hey, do you want to play Heroes of the Storm? And I'm like in bed already. And I'm like, not really. So Alan, what is your favorite Heroes of the Storm character to play and why?
First, I want to say, I think you're lying. I don't think I've texted you ever in my life at 1 in the morning. Let the record show that I don't, unless there's something going on with your phone, which makes sense why you never respond. Because this is the story from my end, Justin, Gert. I'm like, hey man, you want to play Heroes of the Storm? 3 hours later, no.
No.
But my favorite character of Heroes of the Storm, I'll be honest, I've only been playing it for about 4 weeks now. I'm a total noob. No idea which one is. Lately, I've been playing El Diablo. And I've been doing a whole bunch of wrestling moves to all the other characters. It's one of the characters of the week.
Nice.
Yep.
That's awesome. Oh, great. Well, I think that wraps up our show for you guys today. You guys got lucky, and you got like a 50-minute show out of us.
We got to cut that down, man. We got to cut a lot.
We'll just cut everything Justin said out.
Yeah, everything, me out, just completely.
That'll save like 5 minutes because I think Alan did about 30 minutes.
Gosh darn it. I need to work on it.
No,
I just wanted you guys to experience the castle.
No,
it's so great. Awesome.
I'm just sad that you didn't explain like Steve and my relationship more during the story. Like, were we holding hands?
Yeah,
like,
you were very vague about it.
Oh, well, next time on Tuesday Night Podcast, we'll be talking about conventions and SBJ and Justin's romantic trip to the castle.
Yes.
So for our listeners, please leave us a review in iTunes. It does actually help other people find the show easier. And like I stated at the beginning of the show, we're going to give away another copy of Two Rooms and a Boom.
You're welcome.
To one random person who leaves us an iTunes review. So thank you. We appreciate that in advance. Alan, where can our listeners find you?
They can find me at Alan Girding, ALANGER, ding, DING.
Awesome. And Justin?
At Yougurt87, YOUGURT87.
For some reason, I always thought it was yogurt, but that's fair.
Yogurt. I mean, people get it wrong all the time. It was yogurt. That's a story for another day.
All right. You can follow me on Twitter. It is at Dragging a Lake. And I feel like I'm supposed to be saying something else, but I don't know what that is.
Check out World Championship Russian Roulette and next, I don't know.
But yeah, that has been our show, and we are
finished.
Oh, you didn't let that linger enough at all.